Shannon, what do you think about when you think of water houses? What's your biggest red flag, or what are some of the biggest things that you think of that homeowners should be doing to protect themselves?
Well, my ideas were kind of what we've already touched on. The negative grade to the house, that's always the first thing to look at, is try to make sure that your ground level isn't sloping back to the house where, when you have water, it's sitting and pooling up against the house. Guttering is very important. We just talked about that. I have had a few clients that just kind of have gone out and done, just a little bit of trenching around their house. So, like you say, you just let the ground do its job, so when it falls, it just kind of runs. It's always going to go down to the lowest point. So create a lowest point that makes it diverted away from the house. I think anything you can do about that. I think also keeping those gutters clean, because another problem is that they get clogged up with a lot of leaves. The leaves come in or debris, and then once they're clogged and it won't go down and it won't go out, then it's just spilling back, upwards, which is either going up on your roof if you've got a flat roof, or if you have a pitched roof, it's just running over and just falling right there at the house. So you're not having those things in place don't matter if you don't maintain them, right?
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, one of our neighbors was talking to my father-in-law. He said, "Hey, did you see me out on the roof?" And my father's like, "No, what are you doing up there?" And he goes, "Well, I didn't know this, but pine needles had built up. It looks like a flat top. So when you look at a Southwestern style home, obviously it looks like it's flat on top, but it's really not. You have a fake kind of parapet wall that goes down to what is a built-up roof. And the built-up roof has a slope, and the slope goes to what we call scuppers or canals that allow the water to drain out the side of the roof. Well, those filled up with pine needles, and he had no idea. So he had a huge lake on top of his in his garage roof, and next thing you know, he had water coming through everywhere in his garage. And so to your point, clean out your gutters, get up, take a look at your roof every once in a while, especially if you have a flat top or a built up roof. Those things are.
Well, even, a tar and gravel roof, the gravel's up there for ballast to keep the roof down. But what happens is over time, as the water builds up on the roof, it moves those rocks around and they get stuck in the canals. So that's one thing to look at too.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times, we talk about getting the water away from the house, and it's not always practical. If you have an area where your gutter maybe runs down and you don't want a big long pipe like across your driveway or your walkway or something like that, something to consider is putting your downspouts in an area where you can have a rain barrel, and then you're not even trying to divert it away from the house. You're just capturing that, and you can use it for watering your lawn or anything that you want at another time. But then that water's just not even coming down, and that is just extra water that's not coming anywhere that you're trying to do something with.
Yeah. You can use it later, because in New Mexico, we know, and it rains hard for 20, 30 minutes, and then maybe a little drizzle after that, or it goes right back to being sunny. What about some of the things you see, Paul, as far as like plumbing is concerned, that can be things that owners should be sensitive to? Like if rust build up on your hot water heater, is that something to be concerned about? Or mineral buildup? You see that quite a bit. So.
It can. That's evidence of a leak. It doesn't necessarily. The more corrosion you get on those fittings, usually the less likely it'll leak, because it's already built up around it.
Interesting.
But I would say that it is indicative of a past leak, so you should probably get it looked at. One of the things we see in Crawlspaces quite a bit is plumbing leaks from the bathrooms, the tub drains, those types of things. And what it does, it gets to the floorboards. And as it starts dripping on the floorboards, you think, well, it's just a little bit of water. Water and wood takes time to get wood rot, to get those types of things. But mold will start to grow. I've seen a lot of homes that have a drip in the bathroom, and then the floor starts getting real soft. You ever see that?
Yeah.
When you go underneath and look at it, and you're like, well, I can't even believe it held me when I was standing up there.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think I'll go to the crawl space first, see what parts of the house are safe. Because I've had some that the whole thing looks just like it's been wet for years.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. So if you have an issue in your plumbing, get it looked at immediately.
Yeah. Well, let's just say you have a house and you have no idea that your shower pan's leaking. I mean, is it once a year, once every couple of years? Should you have
to get in the crawl space?
Yeah, get down there and take a look.
Once a year, twice a year.
Just get down there and kind of poke around a bit, or maybe hire someone to come down, or
well, you can go and
don't
and
call
look
me on that
if you
one.
have a problem. If you have a problem, call somebody.
Yeah.
But the best thing to do is to take a look under there, see if the other thing we've talked about is water next to the foundation. So when you go in the crawl space, not only look for plumbing leaks, but look for if you're watering close to your house, that water will continue to, water finds the path of least resistance, just like anything else. So it'll go right down that foundation wall where the soil is touching the foundation wall. It'll just go down there, and then we'll try to go into the concrete blocks.
So like all the landscaping you put in next to your house, all the shrubs, the bushes, the grass. So when you did, Aspen, you redid your yard, but you did your planters out against your fence.
Mm-hmm. We have concrete around our house, and then we have rocks. We don't have any in our front yard. We have 3 shrubs right on the house, but they don't require watering. So we don't have any water near the house. One thing I was going to mention is, because at this house I've had some water issues more so than at some of the other houses I've had. But even if you have water, is something you can kind of hear. If something sounds weird, that's whenever I think you should kind of start looking into it. I had a loose water spigot on the front of my house. And whenever we turned it on, water was still coming out of the hose, but I could hear it going back into the crawl space. So we got someone out there, and it was an easy, cheap fix, but it could have been a really expensive, big problem later down the line. So just listening if something sounds weird. We had the same thing at one of our rentals. It sounded like a shower was kind of going back into the wall, and it was. So if you kind of just hear something off, just get someone out there to check it and just address it right away.
Yeah.
It does makes it a lot easier.